Hey, what is up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today as we're looking back at the WWE's Royal Rumble 2006 main event. This was main evented by Kurt Angle going up against Mark Henry. And although Mark Henry was sort of being built up on the SmackDown brand, to me, honestly, looking back at Mark Henry and Kurt Angle main eventing a pay-per-view over John Cena versus Edge, this to me honestly is looked at as one of the weakest pay-per-view main events that I can honestly remember, other than looking at like R-Truth versus John Cena at Capital Punishment, I believe 2011 is when I think that was. To me, honestly, Mark Henry, who had been in WWE since I believe 1996, maybe 1997, to me, honestly, this guy had always been sort of looked at as some sort of a joke, although I think that the plan early on in Mark Henry's career was that they really wanted to push this guy and make him something to be an Olympic hero who would become a World Heavyweight Champion for WWE and sort of be that flag bearer of the company. I think that honestly, from the stories of Mark Henry getting a lot of sort of backstage perks that would lead to him getting sort of backstage heat where guys wouldn't want to work with him, or maybe just people thinking that he wasn't really trained or he didn't really care and that he was lazy. We've heard all of these things about Mark Henry in the early part of his career. Although it's hard to knock him, 2006 was sort of the start of Mark Henry moving his way up the card. They just really found a way to really work him and get him going. I think that honestly the plan for this match was it was supposed to be Mark Henry against Batista. I believe Mark Henry and Batista had a match that had sort of been set up and then not really been able to pay off due to injury. Batista, was injured and he was taken off the show when he was World Heavyweight Champion. And Kurt Angle was basically a Band-Aid. He was sort of looked at as the number 2 heel on the Monday Night Raw brand at the time. And they just immediately placed him on SmackDown where he would go in, win a Battle Royal and become the new champion of the show because they needed something to sort of be their flag bearer of it. Kurt Angle was looked at as he was supposed to sort of be some sort of a babyface on the show, but to me, honestly, he was a tweener. You see him cheat in this match, but then again, he's going up against Mark Henry. He's going to have to cheat to take down Mark Henry, and that's just what he did. But I think those are some of the things that we respect about Angle, is that he knows he's the best wrestler in the world, but sometimes when you're wrestling a guy that's twice your size, you're going to have to play up to the advantage of what is handed you into the ring. In this match, basically, Henry just overpowers Angle from the beginning. Although the crowd is not really into this match, I think a lot of people are thinking that there's no way that Mark Henry is going to win the championship. But in this match, there's a ref bump where Angle would go in, he would hit a low blow. He would then deliver 2 steel chair shots to Mark Henry that would knock him down. He would try to cover him for the 1-2-3, but Henry was able to kick out. From there, basically, Kurt Angle had to go over and he had to expose one of the turnbuckles in the corner. Then he would throw Mark Henry into the solid steel post. And then once he would hit that, he would just roll them up and got the 1-2-3. This was sort of the end of the Mark Henry versus Kurt Angle storyline, because right as this match is over, as Angle is hearing his music and he's holding the belt up, we see the Undertaker's gong go off. And basically, Undertaker comes out, but this is not a normal Undertaker entrance. He comes riding out on a horse and buggy carriage that goes by really fast, to the point of you're like, what the heck did I honestly just see? From there, Undertaker gets off of the carriage, and Undertaker makes his way down towards the ring. Although they don't come face to face, they just sort of stare at each other, and you see that thing where Angle just holds that belt tight, and he's trying to just basically signify to the Undertaker, you're not going to take this from me. This is everything to me, and I'm going to have to do my best to defend it. It's a cool sight seeing the Undertaker come out there. I know that they have that pay-per-view that comes down between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. At that time, I believe it was called No Way Out, but it might have been a SmackDown show, so it might have been a different one. But I know this setting up WrestleMania 22, which I believe was in Chicago. I think Undertaker fights against Mark Henry in the casket match there. So Angle must have found a way to sort of slip through there to make it to WrestleMania, where he was beat by the Royal Rumble winner, Rey Mysterio. But this is a very forgettable match that I think a lot of people don't really remember. And I think the reason why this was the main event was just for Undertaker, who was not a part of that year's Royal Rumble, to have that entrance setting up No Way Out 2006, which would be Angle versus Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship.